Hello everyone, so I will be doing a small book haul. I didn't get many books this month or last, trying to stay indoors, but before it got really crazy, I went to my local bookstore and Barnes & Nobles. So let's get started. The first book I got was The Darkest Minds by Alexandria Bracken. This is a young adult fantasy novel. This is about Ruby, who wakes up on her 10th birthday and her parents lock her in the garage and send her to Thurmond, a government rehabilitation camp. She's now 16 and having survived a mysterious disease that killed most children. She's now developed abilities that she can control, and she has to escape the camp to find a safe haven for other kids like her. I heard good things about this. I like dystopia type books and fantasy. The next book I got was Winter's Tale by Mark Halperin. This is a historical fiction fantasy novel about Peter Lake, who attempts to break into this fortress mansion house that he thinks is empty, but the daughter of the owner is there. And they fall in love, but she is dying. So this drives Peter to stop time and to bring people back from the dead. The size is very intimidating, but I don't usually like romance books, but I think I might like this one because it has sci-fi aspects to it. So it's not purely romance, and so I can take books like that. Because I do want to get into more romance, but I know a book that is just romance is not for me. And I heard good things about this one, so I want to give it a try. The Other People by C.J. Tudor. This is a horror book about Gabe, who is driving home from work, and he sees this young girl in the car in front of him, and she mouths the words daddy, and he realizes that that's his daughter. He chases the car for a while, but he thinks that can't possibly be her. So he then turns into a rest stop to call his home, and there a police officer answers and tells him that his wife and his 5-year-old daughter are dead. He doesn't believe this because now he's so sure that he saw his daughter in the car. And so for the past 3 years, he's been driving up and down the highway trying to find this car. She is the author of The Chalkman, and I really like The Chalkman, so I'm hoping that I will like this one. It sounds interesting. I think I'm on page 100, but I took a break from this because I have library books that I have to read soon. But so far, I really like it. The next book I got was Carrie by Stephen King. I've read this book before, but I don't really remember it. Like, I know what it is about. I've seen the movie, I've seen the remake, and so I know what it's about, but I don't remember if I like the book, and it was $3, so I had to get it, and it's only like 245 pages. So I wanted to reread this and see if I like it, because I'm getting really into Stephen King. We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. This is a horror novel about Chris, who in the 90s was part of this heavy metal band called Dirtwork. They were on the rise, but their lead singer goes off on a solo career and he reaches fame as Coffin. It's 20 years later, and she works at a Best Western, and she's poor and miserable. She then discovers the reason for Terry, her lead singer's success. He sold her soul and the rest of her bandmate's soul. And so now she's determined to confront him. I actually read this month, and I did like it. I just didn't like it as his other works, like the Southern's Book Club Guide to Slaying Vampires or My Best Friend's Exorcism. So this one so far is my least favorite, but it is good. I gave it a 3-star rating. Next one is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. This is a young adult fantasy novel about a world that is overruled by monsters. Kate, she wants to be as ruthless as her father, who lets the monsters roam free and charge the humans for his protection. Then there's August, a monster. He has the ability to just steal souls by music, but he desperately wants to be human. I'm surprised I haven't read this yet. I really like Victoria Schwab's books, like Vicious, so I really want to read this. I just never picked it up till now. The next book I got was The Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. This is the second book in the Red Rising trilogy. I don't know what this is about because I haven't read Red Rising yet, so I don't want to read it and spoil it for me. It was only $3, and I've heard amazing things about Red Rising, so I know I probably want to read the second book as well, so I couldn't pass it up. The next one is Devil's Knot, The True Story of the West Memphis 3 by Mara Leverett. This is a true crime book about, in 1993, 3 boys were sentenced to prison for a murder they did not commit. 3 8-year-old boys was murdered, and they live in a small town, and these boys were outsiders. They listened to Marilyn Manson, they dressed in black, so everyone assumed it was them. They didn't get a fair trial or anything. So I saw the documentary and it was amazing. So I'm excited to read this book. I think if you haven't seen the documentary, you must. It is amazing, and it's just heartbreaking and scary that you can just go to prison for something you did not do because the townspeople didn't like you and you're in a small town. Christine by Stephen King. Like I said, I want to get more into Stephen King, and this is a horror book about Arnie who finds a red and white Plymouth Fury for sale, and the owner calls it Christine, and after he buys it he becomes more confident, but then a lot of awful things start to happen. And the next one is The Unbecoming of Mara by Michelle Hoden. This is a young adult fantasy novel about Mara who wakes up from an accident that had killed her friends. She does not have any memory of the accident or a few days before that. And her parents decide to move, and so she starts a new school where she meets this mysterious boy who kind of knows more about her than she does. And she starts to see things that couldn't possibly be there. And so she thinks maybe she's going crazy. I never heard of this book until I watched some of Emily Fox's videos where she hates this book. Like, I've seen so many videos of her where she just goes on and on about not liking this book that when I saw it at the used bookstore, I had to get it. I had to know why she does not like this so much. Like, if someone tells me, oh, they didn't like a book, that's fine. I don't really have an urge to read it unless they go on and on and on about it. Like, they're so passionate about it. Then I'm like, okay, now I need to read this book. I need to know why you have this hatred for it. And this is so this is an example of that. Like she said, it doesn't seem like it would be bad, but I guess apparently it is, and I want to know why. Now, the last book I got was the reason I went to the bookstore to begin with. I saw this and I had to get it. This copy of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. They need to stop coming out with awesome editions of this book. I have the illustrated one, I have like the anniversary one, and now this one. I'm gonna go broke because of them. And what's cool about this is that it's like a pop-up book type of thing. It's so cool. The letter, and then you open it up and it's the Harry's Hogwarts acceptance letter. They have like Diagon Alley Oh, I'm so bad at showing this. I'm going to try to film it on my phone so you can get a better close-up because it's just awesome, and if you love Harry Potter, I'm sure you would want to pick this up. Here's it, the Diagon Alley. Look at it. It's awesome. Then we have the Gryffindor entryway. And you pull the thing and your eyes move. You have a castle and opens up and you can see it's like, it's just, and it does also have illustrations in it. It's so pretty. Like this folds down into Christmas. You have it's just, oh my goodness. Here's the chess. Them playing chess. You have Voldemort being revealed. It is a bit pricey. It is $40, but it's beautiful. I had to get it. And if you, maybe this will be a good Christmas present for someone you know that loves Harry Potter, because if they do, they will love this. Trust me. So those are all the books I recently bought. So like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!